everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it is Friday, everyone. Congratulations, it is the end of the week, and I'm sure you guys are all so excited. I'm happy it's the end of the week, and I have to report to you too that tomorrow is actually the last day of the October 10-day juice fast, and everyone's been doing so well. I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. They've all gone through their ups and downs, but they've managed to keep going, and yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. So I'm just super happy for this juice fasting group, and they've been really victorious, really winning over themselves, I really have to say. So I wanted to just report on that. And if any of you are interested, I am going to be hosting and supporting a juice fasting group every month. And it'll be the first 10 days of every month. So the next one is November 1st to November 10th. So you can go to my website and sign up for that. And it's going to be super fabulous. And so today I want to talk about, I got a question this morning asking me about the green powders, about the question was specifically about what I thought of like powdered wheatgrass. And I'm going to just generalize this question more into like just powdered stuff, like powdered greens and all that's what's out there on the market. And pretty much my view of it is I prefer, if I have an option, the number one option is always going to be the fresh living form of something, okay? So if you have the option between powdered wheatgrass and fresh wheatgrass, you go with the fresh stuff, okay? And even better is to be growing it on your own and cutting it and then juicing it immediately. Okay, and that's the same thing with any kind of vegetable or fruit, is that the best case scenario is to be growing it on your own and having it fresh and living, like literally just picked. Second best would be store-bought, but still it being in its whole form. Now, there are, as you know, a lot of green powders and all sorts of different mixtures of different alkalizing and mixtures of different greens and vegetables and fruits that are all powdered down into like these powders that you make into like a green drink. You mix it up usually just with water, or you can add it to your smoothie or your juice or whatever you want. And it's kind of like an added punch of nutrition, right? And it's a lot of these formulas, that's what they are, they're formulas. They have like powdered greens, and they have the powdered sprouts, and they might have different powdered fruit, and they might have even different mushrooms and roots and herbs and all sorts of stuff. And pretty much, you know, if you want to have that once in a while, that's fine. I myself, I have it like, you know, if I have like a green powder, I usually have it when I'm traveling. I do bring it with me, and I've had all different types of powders. I've had Life Force Nutritionals, like Vitamin Mineral Green I've had, and Pure Synergy I've had, and I've even had the Elements for Life, the Revitify. All these things are great, you know, and I enjoy them, especially when I'm traveling and I'm like staying in hotels and I'm like out in the middle of nowhere, and I like to have that as like my emergency. It's kind of like, you know, I wake up and I don't know where I'm going to eat and I'm starving, you know, so I make sure I have like a lot of water, you know, and I just throw like a few tablespoons into like a big liter and shake it up and drink that down. And I find it's great when you're traveling, when, you know, you don't have the control as much as you have at home as to what you're going to be eating. And I know when I'm traveling, I don't get as much greens in, and I tend to be eating more fruit, that a lot of times these green powders really kind of balance me out. And especially because I notice myself, my top peak health is always high greens. And so I do take those powders once in a while when I travel. They're great. And I have to also say, in the wintertime, I don't know what it is, but in the wintertime, I actually put a lot of these green powders in my juices and in my smoothies. And I think a lot of it has to do with that I'm living in Canada, and I'm living in Montreal, Quebec, okay, where it's very cold here in the winter, and our winters are like 6 months long minimum, okay, like minus 40 degrees, and there is nothing growing here. There's nothing that's fresh except for the sprouts that I'm growing. And I think because most of the produce I'm getting is all imported, and you don't know how long it's been frozen and lying around and transported, for some reason I do use a lot of green powders. And I think a lot of it has to do with I just intuitively need something more. And I'm not getting it from my transported produce, that I add, you know, just a little hit of extra nutrition. And so, and that for me is just something that I just do. It's not something that, it's not a protocol, it's not something someone's told me that I needed because I'm lacking this or I need that. It's just something that I don't know, I gravitate towards it. But someone might be totally different. And so, you know, these green powders, the main thing is you gotta just make sure you get a good quality one. I do suggest, like James Sheridan's brand, like the Health Force Nutritionals, that stuff's good. And also the Pure Synergy line is also good, and also Elements for Life. Their powdered stuff, like their Revitify, that's a good one because there's no fruits or anything added. It's just pure greens. It's very, very alkaline. And so that's really good. And if with the wheatgrass stuff that I've been asked about, I don't really know what's on the market and what's good and what's bad. I think it's something you need to do the research with what is available to you. You can always call companies and ask them. And the main thing you want to make sure is to read a label and to make sure you know every ingredient that is in this package good, okay? And that there's no wheat added, there's definitely no sugar, no weird fillers, okay? You gotta make sure that all it is, like if you're buying, like this person is asking me about powdered wheatgrass, you gotta make sure it's just powdered wheatgrass. That's it. There shouldn't be any other ingredient in there. And you should also call the manufacturer or the company to find out how it's dried, because there's different ways of drying things, and some of this stuff is like cooked, okay? So you're not getting any nutrition from it. So you got to look into how it's processed, pretty much, because that's what it is. It's a processed food. And so what I know of the best thing with these kind of things is that it needs to be flash dried, and it's not high heat. It's got to be cool. Okay, so look into that, talk to them, find out, make sure that they're not heating it over 104 degrees, and make sure it's organic. And you know, especially because like it's powdered stuff that you don't know what it once was. Okay, if it's like a bunch of like dirty swaggy stuff, or if it's like pure pristine ingredients that someone really took the care into using in the product. Okay, so look up the product, speak to the people that own it, and speak to, you know, do the research on it, and you know, just make sure whatever you're taking that you really trust it. And if you don't go near it because there's a reason for it. And I think the main thing is that if you can get any of these things in its real living form, like do the wheatgrass juice over buying the powdered stuff. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Especially with wheatgrass and especially with sprouts, because you can grow that in any climate. Okay, so that's it. I'm wishing you guys a fabulous, fabulous weekend, and do sign up for November's Juice Fast. And I will see you on Monday. Bye!